Hi, welcome to the coaching game. I am so excited tonight. I have two of my favorite coaches in the whole wide world, Clare Merlo and Sabine Wieger. Oh my gosh, did I do that right?
Yes.
Yeah. I was practicing and I did just slip right out of my head anyway. Anyway, these people, I met these wonderful, wonderful coaches in IPAC long, long ago, and they have been out there doing some really cool things that they're going to tell us about tonight. So really that they've got a workshop, but I would kind of be interested, since I haven't talked to them in ages, to find out what you guys been doing since we all graduated. So Clare, how did you decide you're going to stay in coaching? Because so many we know, and I'm sure you've checked with your classmates. A lot of people don't stay in coaching. How did you decide you're going to do that?
Well, I think it was kind of fate. I was downsized from my company, and I had been studying coaching because of my interest in leadership. And I just said, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to see how this coaching goes for 6 months. And then I got some big contracts with the United Nations and with some local companies, and it just kind of kept me going. And of course, my partnership with Sabina has been a key part of that because, believe it or not, when we met 12 years ago and in IPEC coaching, in our coaching school, we have continued our relationship and we meet weekly and coach each other and work on projects for 12 years.
Oh my gosh.
And in fact, I'll just say one more thing and then I'll let Sabina talk. We have been meeting in a beautiful foreign location once a year for the last 5 years. And we just got back, we just returned from our trip to Lisbon. So where we listened to some coaching, we listened to a coaching conference and coached each other. And so our relationship just continues to grow.
Well, when we started talking, they go, "Whoa, we're going to be in Lisbon, and we could have coached from there." And I'm going, "We could take from there." And I went, "Okay." I don't know why, because Sabina's in Austria and Claire is in Florida, and I'm in New York. It's like, okay, thank God for Zoom. But anyway, I'm so thrilled to hear that you all guys stayed together for 12 straight years and inspired each other. What about you, Sabina?
Well, we have talked several times on
Yes, we
Coach
have.
TV, right? And we had always a different topic. So, yeah, I continue coaching, shifting more to corporations right now on leadership and personal branding. I guess for me it was also faith because I feel that's the right thing. That's my thing. I love what I do. So I feel like every time I'm invited to talking to you at Coach TV, I have a different topic. So I'm very glad we are regularly
He's
talking.
very versatile, yes. Many talented, many talented. Well, I'm really excited about what you guys are doing because you've got this workshop and I guess Zoom really kept you together, which is so weird because we all go, oh my God, we're not connected anymore. But I think Zoom has made so many things like this show, with you both together. Has Zoom kept you guys together more so and allowed you to produce this workshop?
Absolutely, but I feel like we both have been working remote anyway the entire time. So otherwise it wouldn't work, right? Claire is in Florida, I'm in Austria. So, and I moved back from the US now it's 2015, so 7 years ago. So we would, without Zoom or any other virtual tool, that wouldn't have been possible, right?
Yeah, probably not. I don't think you get the same, over the phone, which is how we started with iPad back in the ancient days. That worked well, but I think for sustainability, I think just seeing each other and communicating, and then for us, picking places to meet in person has been important as well.
Yeah, I can see the fun aspect of that for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's a good. We'll call it a business trip. Yeah, let's head on out. Yeah, good for you.
Exactly.
Good for you.
Exactly.
So this workshop that you've created, when you told me about it, of course, I got it all wrong. It's like, oh, personal branding, and I understand that. And I don't understand it at all, because you're talking about you're talking about personal branding, and then I will let you tell me how wrong I am. You're talking about personal branding within a corporation, which is like, wow, what is that? So let's see, Sabina, what does that mean?
Yeah, well, we focus on positioning people where they want to be. Like, yeah, I'll give you an example. If I would be back in the days when I was working for corporations, I would have helped to would have a coach or someone who helps me on how do I actually position myself in a way that I'm seen for my strengths, for my skills, for my personality, and I can work in these. I didn't have that, so I think it took me several detours until I came to the spot where I was in the end of the corporation. So it's really positioning yourself, whoever, yeah, actually from day one in a corporation, ideally, where you want to be, seeing already the vision where you want to go in these corporations. What is your career path? What can you see? What are the perspectives? And with the goal, having a vision and going towards that vision, incorporating your uniqueness, your authentic you with your skills, your personality, and allowing that to happen too. That's the idea.
And I think, just to add on to that, I think leaders in companies they want people to grow, right? They want to grow their own leaders. And so often in individual coaching, we'll see, oh, I need to increase my exposure. I need my boss says I need to be more visible. I need to present ourselves in a better light, which is all personal branding. So not only the individual is seeking it for themselves, but the leaders are saying, hey, this is important stuff for our people. And so that's why they're engaging Sabina and myself to come in and help grow their leaders.
That's so interesting, because I'm so glad you said that, Claire, because I was just going to say, how does this complement and become cohesive with the brand of the company? And are leaders really wanting you to jump out there and go, hey, look at me, as opposed to being, I'm not going to say sheep, I'm going to say a good employee who follows all the rules.
Yeah.
Do you find that as a problem of any kind?
I feel like that's two different things, right? This one is, yes, of course, I want to follow the mission, the brand of the company. The other one is me, allowing myself being seen for me. And what we learned, and also that was before we actually created the workshop, because there was several coaching sessions where I felt like, oh my goodness, you don't do yourself a favor if you are positioning yourself, how you're doing this right now, how you're showing up in your team meeting. That is not towards your favor, to your great side, who you are. So you're not showing yourself in the best light.
Yeah, and to add on to that, I think that those leaders, those managers who might feel threatened by growing their team, well, they're not going to hire us, right? It's going to be the people who really see the value for themselves and for their team. So I think that's the distinction.
Good point. Yeah. Good point. Well, is this, how do you do this? Do you work this one-on-one with people within the corporation? Is this a group workshop, or how do you facilitate this and get your idea across?
Well, we did some open workshops. So people from different corporations come to us, or people who are just in transition. They're not feeling right at the job, and they feel like something is off. I need to find a new job, or maybe a job in this corporation that is fitting myself more. So either people come to an open course, or we are getting hired by a company, by a leader who says, I want that you know where you're going. in your career.
Oh,
So I think that you find out yourself what's good for you, understanding yourself, building self-confidence. That is both ways are possible and are working.
And I think it's morphed over the year or so that we've been doing this, from intensive workshops weekly with outside work and with coaching. And now through Sabine's direction is shifting more to just shorter, more focused workshops and individual sessions.
oh, that's interesting. So how it evolved from a big picture to a more focused picture? Is that how that's working for you guys?
Well, it's let's say it like that. It was before 8 modules, or 7, and then 1 that is a follow-up. That is like we have 90-minute sessions, and then we have individual coaching sessions. People are doing the work on the workbook we give them. Then they send that to us. We give them feedback, and we felt like that is very long. And this was also the feedback we received. So we make it now shorter and precise, and still very hands-on, so that the outcome is very strong on the personal brand.
Wow, good point. How is this done? Is this done in 3 workshops? Is this done in an afternoon? Or do you tailor it? How do you determine how you're going to present this to people?
So if it's a open course, so people come to us from different corporations, we go with our program. So there are like 4 modules, and they have these topics from starting with a vision, understand why you need a personal brand, what would it do for you, with your vision for your career, then creating goals, and then you get into communication, online, offline behaviors, what's in your way. Go very much down to your personal brand statement. And if we are doing this with one corporation, we usually tailor it to what they
Sure.
see as their topics, their challenges in the corporation. Claire, you want to add something?
Oh, I just wanted to say that in addition to that, we also bring in positive intelligence, which is kind of a shortcut. It's really a shortcut to building your emotional intelligence. And what it helps our clients do is it increases their self-awareness and self-knowledge. And with that, then they can really get a perspective on how they're coming across, how they're presenting themselves in the workplace. And through, we want them to be authentic, their authentic selves. We don't want anyone to change who they are. But what if we tweak something? Let's say I'm going to avoid, my propensity is to avoid. Well, maybe I don't, if I'm avoiding, I'm not showing up as a leader. But if I'm aware of the times that I am avoiding, I can start to craft and to shift my behaviors to become a little more assertive, to grow these skills of self-awareness, to sustainably grow or sustainably present myself in a positive way in the workplace.
That was going to be my next question. So now I'm going to put you on the spot, Claire.
Okay.
That'll teach you. No. So can you just briefly tell us what is positive intelligence? I know we've got the buzzword for emotional intelligence. We've all understood that. What's the difference?
Well, I think that they're similar, and they're both assessments. They're both based in the neuroscience of how we think, how our brains react. And the interesting thing, I find, I'm certified in emotional intelligence as well, and it's a little complicated to understand. And somehow with positive intelligence, we call it PQ, that it just really fast tracks your understanding. And it uses this construct known as a saboteur. So it's what gets in your way, what triggers you, what kinds of people, conversations, situations bring out the you that's not your best, let's say. So once you're aware, and when I became aware of, I just said, after I started studying this, wow, now I understand myself. So it really does give you a shortcut to understanding. And then that, through that awareness and then practice of how to shift our behaviors to behave in ways that suit us better. And not only is this helpful in the workplace, but also in our personal lives as well. You know, how you react to stress. It's very apparent to everyone. And so if you can present yourself as, oh, I'm stressed, but let me present myself in a way that is just more positive, or more really reflecting who we really want to be and how we want to come across.
Wow, I can see this being so helpful for, like, as you said, Sabina, people in transition, my gosh, or people who feel like, I'm keep getting passed over. What's going on here? You know, I need to advance or get out or do something like that. Who are your clients? I mean, is this one of these female workshops, or does everybody get to come? How does that work?
Well, interesting enough, we designed it for women because that's what we saw and experienced in our coaching sessions, that we're like, okay, sometimes it's not so helpful being overly emotional in team meetings. So we designed it actually in the beginning for women. And now we are both getting approached more and more by guys who also say, hey, something isn't my way. I'm not really me. I am not allowing myself to be authentic. How can I position myself now in a way that is a stronger picture? And maybe sometimes it's the picture or the view I have about myself and the view others have about me is not aligned, and they feel something is wrong. So they come, hey, maybe I need a little bit shifting my personal brand right now. How can I position myself differently? So it's actually for both.
That's where so many clients, coaching clients, come from. It's like, I'm not sure what's wrong, but I know something is. So let me try to figure this out. So good for you guys. Claire, you're also, aren't you doing something with like body language? And it's like, how do you interject that into all this?
Well, that's a part of how we communicate. And so we really touch on not only our written and verbal communication, but how we come across with our bodies. And this is so important in this visual Zoom world, right? Because if you're sitting in a meeting and you're distracted on your phone, or so many of us now, because of our phones, we hold our bodies in a very closed manner, which puts people off. So being aware of just good posture, how you present yourself, how you pay attention to your coworkers online is so important. So it's that whole piece of it, that it's our bodies as well as the words we say.
What are the challenges with because it's hard to make your presence known anyway online. So what are the challenges in addition to just bringing out your authentic self? I know we agreed that Zoom is a blessing of the pandemic, so to speak, but what are the challenges for bringing out your authentic self online?
I think it's from what we hear. I mean, you know it probably, everyone knows it. If you meet someone, you have the entire body language, right? And you can grab the person and the personality online, especially some people and corporations, they don't have cameras on. You only hear the voice. So even that is so important. Being aware how you actually speak, how fast, how slow, what words you use. I think that is a challenge, that you don't really get to build up very easily trust, because you don't have that personal meeting, because you only meet via camera.
Do you incorporate both? It's like, here's what you do in person, or here's what you can do online, or is it one and the same?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's one and the same. It's and. So I think it needs different things for being online and different things again for meeting in person. What we usually do is we work with everyone individually but in our workshop together, so with breakout groups and with a lot of content on what can you do? Can you lean in? I mean, that of course is also in person important. Can you, how to active listening, how to ask questions. I think it's for both different things and similar things. But Claire, this is also one of your expertise that you cover. So please, please add on.
Well, I think you said it. And what I was thinking is that there may be a difference in, so, how you meet people. So if, it takes an effort to set up online meetings or to be in attendance, but it even takes more effort to get out into the world again, right? So many of us were everyone was shut down for 2 years, and now we're slowly going back. And it's hard for some people, introverts, especially people like me. It's hard to get out there and network. So that's actually an expertise of Sabine's in the coursework, to really talk about how we network, how we choose the people that we are going to connect with, and to be thoughtful about that is a key part of it.
Interesting, because I know, and I've had conversations about this on my radio show a lot. It's people just don't know how to communicate with one another because they're so into their phones and their computers, and human communication has sort of gone by the wayside. I remember reading that casinos in Vegas were increasing their slot machines by 90% because people can relate better to the slot machine than they can to a baccarat table.
Oh,
And that's so sad. That's so sad. So I love that you're bringing that out in people, yet you're doing it online. So I'm sure that must be a challenge. What are some of the challenges that you guys have found in doing this? Thank you. Kudos to you for coming up with this, because I think now is the perfect time for it. It's like everybody's running around. Who are we? Are we online? Do we go back to work? How do we go to the grocery store with a mask? All kinds of crazy things. So what are some of the challenges that you found out there in the corporate world?
I would say typical challenges of understanding that we are all different. So the diversity and inclusion, I think that is always a topic that we only see maybe our point of view, but there might be someone who's sitting and having the view from the other side. I think that is a big part of that we are working intensively on in the workshop, that everyone who's participating is also open for other opinions, even though they are completely different. And I would say that is one of the big learnings to allow that room and make sure that people are open to others.
Yeah, and even though it's said that we form opinions and we sense each other in as little as 7 seconds, it's how do we get beyond that and really see the other person as a person, like not just the coworker who's being rude to me, but what's going on with that person, and maybe that human connection is what is missing sometimes, and that's a part of it that we speak about, and also how to. Like a lot of this, if we're talking about new behaviors, it's like moving out of our comfort zone. And so encouraging the participants to do that. And, sometimes it's not so easy. And so little baby steps, what can you do? How can you just make these little steps into new territory for yourself?
Absolutely. I think the interesting what you're saying, Claire, is what we have always big aha moments when we share that we all judge in the first seconds, right? People haven't even talked anything that we already judge. And just this awareness hey, we do that automatically. Just let's not do that. Let's give people a chance. Let's get to know them.
I was going to challenge Claire on 7 seconds. Are you sure? That's boy. I got to clean up my act. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah.
Well, speaking of steps, what are the 4 modules that you guys do? Do you have them broken down, or what are the 4 modules of you? Because I'm wondering, do you first help people get a vision? Because not everybody comes and goes, oh, here I am. This is what I want to be. Right? Yeah.
Well, we start with the why. Why do you need? Why is a personal brand? Why is this positioning important for you? And what is that? I think that's the foundation we need to build first. The why.
Mhm.
And then we go really helping creating that vision, not only on your career, your vision of your entire life, because the career is a part of your life, right? It shouldn't be life and career. So helping with the vision and creating goals based on that. And then we go into communication. So everything that Claire mentioned before, how to communicate, what awareness about your strengths, about your skills. We ask other people, what do they see about us on uniqueness? What are the strengths and you? So we get the other picture too, we get feedback. And then we hone down on how do we want to be seen and what's the message that we want to bring across. And then we go into like Claire's expertise on removing saboteurs, self-sabotaging, that is always incorporated. So we handhold people going through this process so that nothing is in their way. And in the end, we go into how to build now your personal brand on social media, how to influence, how to network in your company to get more seen for yourself.
Fantastic. I want to take the workshop. So.
Now,
how do people find you guys? We only have like 45 seconds left. So yeah, I know it went fast. How do people find you guys? How can they find your workshop?
Yeah, usually they know us, they come to us, they see our posts on LinkedIn, they see us on master classes that we do regularly.
Is there a website or anything like that?
Yeah, on my website, sabinewieger.com.
Okay.
And there is also the link to Claire's.
Oh, okay, perfect. So look up Sabine Wieger. Yeah, and say her name right. Okay. And you will find.
Spell it with a W. Yeah.
Pretend it's a V, and it makes much more sense. Guys, it has been so great talking to you. And I'm thrilled. Let's do this again. I'm really interested in your workshop. Thank you so much for being on the Coaching Game.
Thanks so much, Laurie. It was great to see you in person for the first time.
Yes.